Daily Survey with Rhea Rams is about to go live online. Catch the top monster hits of the day based on your votes and other TDS goodness. Streaming video on the Monster Facebook page at RX931, the Monster YouTube channel at RX931, and twitch.tv/Monster RX931. Your TDS host, Rhea Rams. Stand by and enjoy the program.
Manila's hottest monster, RX93.1. You just heard Lady Gaga with Disease here on the Daily Survey. It's 10:42 in the morning. Time of that song was brought to you by the Hyundai Creta. Bring fun to every drive. What's up, monsters? It's still me, Rhea Rams, and we are being joined by someone very special today. So let's not keep you monsters waiting and welcome her to the monster. Hey, NERIAH.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, I'm doing good as well. But before we get started, why don't you introduce yourself to the monsters?
Hi, I'm NERIAH. I'm coming live from Los Angeles, and I'm so excited to be here.
All right, yes, and we are so excited to have you. I think your volume is a little bit low, so
Hello, let
maybe
me
we
see if
can.
I can see what we can do to fix that. Is that better? If I talk a
Yeah,
little
there we
closer?
go. That's
Okay.
much better. All right, so we
Okay.
can hear you, and we want to know how you got started in the industry.
Wow, what a loaded question. Well, I wrote my first song when I was 5 years old. So I've been doing it for a very long time. It's always been my passion, and I've known it's been what I love. But started releasing a few years ago, posting on social media and on TikTok, and some things went really viral, and now here I am.
5 years old. That's crazy. What do you even write about at 5 years old? What was that first song about? And do you remember how it goes?
Oh, it's so funny because my lovely parents actually had me get it recorded, and it was called The Wishing Well. And I always tell
Mm.
people on one of my albums, I'm gonna have to put it out there somewhere, but I was literally 5, and it was about a wishing well. It was a painting that my dad had painted, and I would just look at it every single night after my parents got divorced. And I just loved my dad so much. He's my biggest inspiration. And I just wrote a song about the picture he drew. So we always joke I owe it to him.
That is so cute. I really hope we get to hear that
Oh,
because
100%.
5 years old, like that's
Yeah.
crazy. That it's innate in you. You were born like at that point. You were born with the talent to write music. You were born with
I
a
just
talent for
knew.
music.
My parents were like, you started singing before you started talking, and I it's just it's been such a love of my life. It's like my biggest love of my life has been music and writing, and it's truly how I got through everything in my life. I mean, if I ever had a problem, I always would
Mhm.
just grab a pen and a paper, and before I even knew what chords were or anything, I always wanted to sing about it.
You probably came out of the womb like,
Exactly.
"Whoa."
Exactly.
But at 5 years old, you wrote your first song. When was it that you realized, okay, this is exactly what I want to be doing for the rest of my life?
Well, honestly, I think my whole life, like when I've grown up in LA, California my whole entire life. And when I was in kindergarten, we had to do these things where they're like, what is your goal? Like, what's your dream?
Mhm.
And I was like, to sell out the Staples Center. Like, what? But which is, one of for anyone who doesn't know, it's like the biggest stadium in LA. It used to be, that's changed
Mhm.
names. But I feel like I've always known. I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. And growing up, I did so many plays and I was in choir and all these different things and writing my whole entire life. And it wasn't until I was older where I was like, you know what? I'm actually doing this. And I went to college, I got my backup plan in case, and I was like, I believe in myself and I'm not gonna stop working until I make this dream happen.
And it will happen. I mean, it's already starting for you. So that's definitely in the cards for you, and we can't wait to witness it. Now, obviously, since 5 years old, there must have been, and I'm sure there has been a lot of growth when it comes to your writing
Yes.
and just your music in general. What do you think has been the biggest influence with this growth?
Definitely my breakups. Relationships have been everything. I mean, I am such a relationship girl. Have been
Mhm.
in a relationship forever. I hate to be alone. And I definitely owe it to my ex-boyfriends for all of the inspiration for the song. So thank you to all of them. But yeah, a lot of toxic relationships really I had to go through to be here.
Oh man, well, it's kind of like an in your face to them also, like, "Yeah, you hurt me, but look where I am now,"
Yeah, and
right?
I'm like, here, now listen to these songs about them. So
Well, you're talking about toxic relationships, and one of our favorite songs here on The Monster is your song, "Red Flag." It's on repeat for so
oh
of us, and I assume, since you just mentioned it earlier, that you wrote this because of an ex
yes.
or so can you
Exactly.
tell us a little bit, like a little bit of the story behind the song?
Yeah, so this song, it's so funny because I actually my first album, which was 24 songs, was all about the same guy. And he was just it's so funny to me now because during the time I thought he was my person and I was going to be with him forever, and I just realized how manipulative he was, and there were all these issues that he had with himself that he would always make me feel like I was the problem. And
Ooh.
sitting at the session, it was actually a session I got to go to the Spotify studios. So I was so nervous. And I was, with my producer and with now one of my absolute best friends, Maya, who's an incredible songwriter. And we were all just like dancing and like hanging out and talking about old stories, and I think, we just started talking about red flag. I think Maya brought it up and we started talking about it, and we just were listing all these things, and I was like, well, here's all my ex's red flags, here's all my red flags. And whenever we have a song concept, I always love to try to flip it upside down. I'm like, how can we write about this like no one else has, or what's a different
Mhm.
way to look at it? And I was like, well, what if I'm the red flag because they made me go through all of this? And it was so much fun. Like, I've truly never had so much fun in a session before, and at the studio, the moment we wrote it, we were like, this song is special. So yeah, it was just, I love being able to look back even at the BTS and see how this song became what it is today is so, so, so amazing.
Yes, and it's not just you. So many people absolutely love and resonate with the song, but we want to hear it from you. If there's one specific message, lesson, or just one specific bit that you want to share with people, like the message, the main core message of this
Mhm.
song, what would it be?
Ooh, I need to make my message good. I'm like, if I could say one thing about it, especially red flag, it would be, do not try to force yourself or even convince yourself that someone is right for you. If you have to beg yourself to if you have to beg them to love you and beg them, to make you feel good enough. automatically, if your friends aren't happy, or if people around you are telling them it's not the wrong person, I know how hard it is in the moment when you're with them and you're like, but I love
Mhm.
them. But you have to learn how to love yourself more, because that's what it comes down to. So practice self-love, realize that you deserve the absolute world and you don't deserve to be with anyone that is not going to give it to you.
Whoo! What a message. The people here in the booth are like,
Oh.
so I guess the question now is, you mentioned yourself, it's very difficult to get out of this situation, especially if you love this person. How did you do it?
Honestly, it took a very long time, and it got to a point where we had actually gone on a break. Like, he had asked me, he'd fully basically broken up with me, and we went on a break. And I was like, I can't wait for him to come back. Was texting all the time. And I got to the place where I was like, you know what? I was like, no, I'm not waiting around for someone. I deserve way more than this. Like,
Mhm.
this person's never going to be what I want. And all my bare minimums, he can't even reach. So I was like, you know what? I need to work on myself. I need to learn how to love myself. Like, anyone that's gonna put me in the state that I am right now of being so heartbroken, like, it's not worth it. I don't want to beg someone to love me. And I think that's something that I really just kept reminding myself. I was like, the worst thing to do is beg someone to love you. And that's what I was doing. So I journaled every single day, and that is how my 24 track album was written during those few months. And I was like, listening back, I was like, oh, I'm done. I'm so done.
Yes, preach it. Because I do feel like there are a lot of people who can relate to this. And I'm so excited for everybody to hear the rest of your album. Now, we talked about Red Flag, the
Mhm.
message of Red Flag. What about the entire album? What message do you want to give your fans, your listeners, when they listen to the album?
So Red Flag is a part of this new album that I'm actually working on right now that I'm so excited. And I think the message overall of this new one is really just be yourself. And there's so many things. I think I was so scared to get to know myself for so long. And I think for this album, that's really what it is to me, of me figuring out who the heck I am, and trying to be honest with myself and all the parts that are scary and not feeling good enough, and feeling like I'm always trying to impress somebody else. And I think it's just a really fun project that people will be able to learn a lot more about me, and it gets very deep, but there's also a lot of very fun songs in it. So I'm just excited for everyone to be able to see a different side of me.
Yes, and we are all extremely excited to hear it as well. I mean, we all love Red Flag already, so we can't wait for the rest of the songs to come out. Now, you actually have been collaborating a lot lately, and you do have an
Yes.
upcoming song with Jake Miller in January.
I
So,
do.
what is it like working with other artists or producers, and how do you make sure that your vision shines through?
It is so much fun. I mean, Jake in specific, I mean, what a lovely human being. We actually met because I was helping him write some of his songs, and he is just automatically, the first day I met him, like, he's so incredible. And I got to co-write some songs for him, and we've written so much together at this point. And we're like, you know what, like, let's do a song together. And I think the way that I always say to do it is I have to be in the room when I'm making it. And I think as long as I'm in the room, I know exactly how to make sure it fits my vision and it fits the NERIAH sound and my brand as well as the other artists. And I think when you create that thing together, it's definitely going to have both sides to it. But I am so excited for Only Always. We have a full-blown music video for it, and it is honestly one of my favorite songs I have released in such a long time. And Jake as well. And we're so excited. I mean, we've talked so much about everything. We're like, we want to come over there hopefully, and just we have so many, so many, so many plans, and it might not be the only song from us. So we have a lot of exciting things in the works, and it's just been such a dream to work with him.
That's super exciting, and I swear we just can't wait to hear all the things you have in store for you. So, for our listeners, if they want to stay updated on all your future releases, your
Yes.
projects, where can they find you online?
So everywhere on social media, my username is This Is Neriah. Neriah is Neriah. And if you guys DM me Noodle on Instagram, I will add you guys to my close friends. We also
Oh,
have Discord and a bunch of fun things. So please join the family. We talk all the time. We have little concerts together. So yeah, you guys are all welcome.
all right. So make sure to DM Naraya Noodles so you can be added to her inner circle, okay? Now we do have to let you go, but is there a message that you want to give all your Filipino fans?
Biggest thing I'm going to say is if you have a dream, go for it. And if you want it, you have to work harder than everyone else. And I promise you, nothing ever will outbeat that.
All right, that is beautiful. It was so great talking to you, NERIAH. Thank you so
Thank
much for joining us here
you. Oh my
on
gosh,
the
thank you for taking the
Monster.
time and for having me. I hope when I come to the Philippines, I get to meet you, and I just can't wait.
Definitely, we really hope to see you here in the Philippines soon.
100%, I
And
promise.
we will have a little like therapy session with you for all the
Yes.
people who've been
With
through
ramen.
what
We'll
you've
eat
been
ramen,
through.
have some therapy.
Yes.
It'll be perfect.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for joining us, NERIAH. And with that, Monsters, we are going to play you NERIAH's song all about red flags. Here's Red Flag, only here on The Monster.